just a minute. Oh, let's see, where is because Jim had to come up and get my watch because he got to watch the water boil. Yeah, oh, yeah, you have to let the water boil 10 minutes over here. I told you that yesterday. So, yeah. So these guys, they wouldn't have anything to do except when we go to these clubs. There's one club, and man, they did have to buy, like I say, it's kind of an unwound deal on the 60th birthday and all this deal. And so they knew that story. And so, to kind of cut the corners, boy, we did have a few. And so anyhow, we went to a place, and Jim did some gambling, and he did some winning, and back over to the Midnight Sun. So okay. So this whole place got to be filled at the closing time. I mean, you can't believe the people from town that ended up in this guy's room. And well, we was in there too, and everybody wanted to meet us and make us feel welcome. I took them up a bunch of beef jerky and cheese and all this good stuff, and we did some unwinding, that's needless to say. And seemed to me like we left out of that place 6 o'clock Oklahoma time. We was only going to go there for just going to have one and leave. But needless to say, we're getting too old for this stuff. I can tell. So when we get back over here, it's like I just woke up just a little bit ago, and it's noon. And I told Jim, "Well, how you feel? Good time, Charlie." he did tie one on. It's kind of funny watching him. So anyhow, told you about Dan, told you about Bill, and our German friends. They came on over, Udo and Gott. Yeah, they came on over, and man, they're some neat people, and we invited in. And people want to know. He said, "Who are these hippies?" And we said, "Oh, no, it's our friends Udo and Gut." So we visited with them, and everybody kind of looked out for everybody else. And hey, it was just a kind of an unwound time. I don't imagine this will happen again on the whole trip, but oh man, I guess I'm getting too old for this too, because I'm sitting here now in a tent looking out these trees, and it's unreal. But what the heck, they got to witness. What they got to witness was some real friends. They could see that friendship in Jim and I. I think some of them were envious. Nobody can have the camaraderie that Jim and I have. Needless to say, they haven't been through what Jim and I have been through. And so if anybody listens to this, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to the tape, because only my good friend gets to listen to this tape. And the ones that's close to me. So anyhow, I'm going to shut it off right now. I'll put the date on here in just a minute. I'm going to get around, get my clothes on. I can't think of a whole lot I haven't told you. Whew. Man, oh man, what is this? I will remember Dawson City. Listen. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you this. Somebody did. Yeah, I did tell you that about the policeman and my glasses. Yeah, they did find him. There's probably a lot of other things I need to tell you. This is an intriguing town. To me, it's not a big town, as you would imagine when I say about Dawson. The streets in this town are not paved. They're all gravel, just the way it used to be. The old buildings have to remain the same, like the theaters and some buildings that I was in was the same buildings that was back in the 1897 and 1898. And it just does something to you to be in really. I kind of feel somewhat sad, because I can see what's happening here. Eventually, Carrie, this will end up to be another Dodge City. You can remember when we used to go to the motorcycle races there in the 60s, late 50s it was, early 60s, and how that was, not tourists and everything. But I can see what's happening here. And one of these days, if somebody that hears this gets to come back up here to Dawson City, you probably won't find it the same way that Cash Register and Jim Coleman found it. It's kind of sad. I'm glad that I got to come up here and see it this way, though, because I just really like it the way it is. Well, I guess I'm going to quit rambling here, and I can't think of anything else I need to say on this. If I do, I'll bring you up to date. I'll give you the date in a little bit. Having a whale of a time. Sitting in a tent in my undershorts, going to put my trousers on, catch you on down the road. One thing I forgot to tell you that did somewhat impress me. I was sitting in one of those clubs. No, not one of those clubs. I only went in 2 places last night, and there's only 3 or 2 you can go to. But anyhow, I was sitting there, and in comes this guy. This sucker is big. I mean, I don't know how much he weighs. He's well over 200, well over 6 foot tall. And he comes in there and he says, "Are you riding at GS's outside with the Last Frontier Rally Alaska plate?" And And I said, yes, I am. And he introduced himself, and he said, my name is Fighter. I thought, oh, gee, Christ, what a name for a guy. You should see how big this sucker was. Anyhow, he belonged to the Northern Riders Club. And the guy Glenn, this last Frontier Rally tag holder that Jim and I have, quite something I'm very proud of. Kerry knows about this. I rode in, and they sent us back one. Didn't ask for any money or anything. I sent the money later on. But anyhow, he said he saw these plate holders on there. He's a Northern Rider. That's the clubs that put this last Frontier Rally on. He saw he saw these plates, and so he made it a point to come in that place and look us up. And like I say, he said that Glenn Smith, and his wife's name's Pam, who sent us the plates, read my letter out at the rally, at the meeting. And it kind of did something to me. But from there on out, this guy stayed with us the rest of the night. I mean, he's going to make sure nothing didn't happen to us. He's camped out. He's sleeping he's a typical Beamer rider. Oh, I love Beamer riders. Y'all know that. Anyhow, he's camped out. We let him have our spot at 6 o'clock this morning. And he's laid right out on the grass out here. Not grass, really. He's laid right out in the woods out here with his sleeping bag. And that did something to me to think about. A guy comes into town, the dirt street town, and sees a motorcycle with the last Frontier Rally on there, and then he's going to make it a point to introduce us, him and find us, and then he tells us that Glenn read my letter out to these people up here, because you got to keep in mind I am 5,500 or 5,700 miles away from home right now. And so that's kind of a highlight for me. I just can't imagine anything. I can't really put this in words. Maybe I'll try to later on and say some things about it. But it really did something to me. I'll get back with you later. There's I'm meeting a bunch of neat people up here. I'm gonna shut it off. I'll bring myself up to date later. Well, let's see. I was telling you about us going into town. That's where I left this off. It is now